After basically 10 years of dominating the WWE as the top babyface faction, it appears that the New Day are breaking up. And this is actually a very interesting and delicate topic because it looks like WWE is starting to really get the plans in motion. Now, we have seen WWE do a slow burn storyline in which Xavier Woods has been a little disappointed with Kofi Kingston. And then in recent weeks, things got a little bit weird because Odyssey Jones came out of nowhere and has aligned with the New Day. And now Xavier Woods is not taking that so positively. And it's a really interesting storyline for a lot of reasons, but you have to wonder, what is this going to lead to? Now, let me just preface everything by saying WWE has got their money's worth with the New Day because essentially since day one, they've always been baby faces. Now, I get it. They started off as a heel faction, but that was very short-lived. WWE knew that the New Day was going to make a lot of money as baby faces, and that's exactly what happened. Of course, things got even a little bit more trickier once Big E's career was put on standstill due to the injury that he faced at the hands of Ridge Holland. So now, as you fast forward, all this time, the New Day have just kind of been in limbo. And that's very interesting considering that they've always been one of the top tag teams or one of the top groups in WWE. And because of that, I'm very curious to see where this actually goes. Now, Xavier Woods is a hell of a wrestler, but a lot of people do underestimate his skills as a character goes. He's actually really good at promos, and I think people often forget that. But what if Xavier Woods is not the one who's actually going to be turning heel? I know WWE is putting it right in front of our eyes that Xavier Woods is the one who is upset. But what if WWE has a different plan here? What if WWE swerves us all by having Kofi Kingston and Odyssey Jones take out Xavier Woods? That could be a really interesting route for the company to go. And ultimately, what makes this so much fun is the fact that Odyssey Jones came out of nowhere. Odyssey Jones is somebody who was in NXT for a very short period of time, didn't have too many televised matches or storylines. He got called up last year for the WWE draft and never actually made his debut. This year he got drafted and never actually made his debut. And now he's in the mix with the Final Testament in the New Day. So who benefits from the New Day breaking up? Well, it really depends. Because if you are planning on turning Kofi Kingston heel and swerving everybody, Odyssey Jones being associated with Kofi, being the guy that's like his muscle, it could make a lot of sense. And ultimately it could be the thing that gets him over as a heel. I mean, in a very short period of time, Odyssey Jones is already getting really good positive reactions from fans, which I definitely didn't expect that because this is somebody that most people don't actually know who he is. But let's just say that's not the case. Let's say WWE is not trying to swerve everybody. Let's just say Xavier Woods is turning heel. I still think it benefits Odyssey Jones. And what's really interesting is I think it actually benefits Xavier Woods a lot. The only problem that I have with the New Day breaking up is where do they go after their initial storyline? Because we have seen tag teams break up in professional wrestling time and time again. And every single time it happens, there's only one person, typically only one person of the group who goes on to be really successful. And then it got me thinking, what if this led to the return of Big E? That's something that a lot of people aren't talking about. And of course, we don't really know how to speculate on Big E's health. But if WWE does have plans to bring Big E into the mix, this could make for some really good quality TV. And the best part is it has nothing to do with championship belts. It has nothing to do with winning a Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank or anything like that. This would be a significant storyline because there is so much value in the history of this group. I don't want to compare this to the Shield breaking up because the Shield breaking up was definitely a shocker. And WWE is clearly teasing something here, but it does make me curious to see how this all goes down in the long term. Now back to Xavier Woods. I think very highly of him. I think he's great. I don't know how WWE would book Xavier Woods as a singles guy. I really don't know. And it's really not fun to reference, his run in TNA as a singles competitor because that was so long ago. But for the most part, ever since he's been in WWE, I mean, he's always been pretty much like the perception is that he's always been with the New Day. And it makes me intrigued to see the route that they go here, because if Xavier Woods successfully breaks away from Kofi and Odyssey Jones, maybe WWE has some plans for Xavier Woods to be in the upper mid card for the Intercontinental Championship. And I would actually never be opposed to that. But I'm very curious to see how they go character-wise, because that's the thing that's really tricky here. We know Xavier Woods could wrestle. We know he can talk. But what do you do character-wise? Like, yeah, he was pretty upset with Kofi Kingston tagging in Odyssey Jones. But is that really enough to warrant a heel turn? This is a storyline that's going to be packed with a ton of layers and a ton of details. And quite frankly, a lot of people that are impatient aren't going to like it. But Xavier Woods has been teasing this for a while now. And so after he feuds with Kofi Kingston or Odyssey Jones, I have to wonder what is next. And this is the thing. Sometimes WWE and AEW and all these wrestling companies, they're just stacked with a roster. It's really hard to stand out. And I actually have a lot of confidence that he'll be able to stand out. But it's going to come at the expense of somebody else. And that's where I get really intrigued here. And that's why I say it's such a delicate situation, because you don't really have to break up the New Day. But of course, if Big E is coming back, you might have to wonder, could there be something bigger in the plans? What if Xavier Woods doesn't actually break away from Kofi? What if this just leads to the entire group turning heel altogether? That could be really fascinating too. I don't know why, but WWE has made it perfectly clear in our eyes that there is going to be some sort of split. But what if that is all being done on design to swerve everybody? Instead of Xavier and Kofi turning on each other, what if this leads to the New Day being heel? I mean, it would freshen things up for the group. And it would be pretty damn significant. I've seen some people also speculate the idea that maybe Xavier Woods could potentially join the Final Testament, because that's obviously been something that Karrion Kross has offered in the past. I wonder if that could be something in play. But I do think that could be a mistake as well, because the Final Testament really, as much as I love the group, they don't really have a lot of momentum. I don't know if that would necessarily be a step up for Xavier Woods. But I do like the idea of seeing Kofi Kingston turn heel. I like the idea of seeing Kofi and Odyssey Jones together. Odyssey being the muscle for Kofi could be really cool. And Kofi is a former world champion. So if you want to put him on top level storylines after, it would make a lot of sense. This is definitely one of those storylines that I want to be paying attention to. I'm excited about it. I'm super geeked to see what happens. I want to know what you guys think down below.